Hey, this is Peter from Weekly Options Advisory and ShadowTrader.net, and I'm going to give you a little end-of-month rundown here and hopefully knock it out in a few minutes. So I'm going to start with these monthlies because it is the last trading day of the month, so this monthly chart is now complete. And if you recall from my video at the end of last month in the weekend edition video, I talked exactly about this bar being like a hanging man, and now we have back-to-back hanging men, right? So just one data point, but something to note, that you've got this kind of toppy pattern in the monthly going back to back. These hammers are not bullish when they're at the end of a range. They're only bullish when they're at the bottom of a range. And it's also feeling a little bit kind of parabolic to me, a little bit to the upside. And we'll get into the more nuanced price action in a second when we look at dailies. But NDX is still lagging. So even with the monthly bar close here, which was relatively strong, this is another topic we've been discussing in the weekend videos a lot, the fact that this is still way off of the all-time high. And if there's going to be any weakness in the market, I still think you should exploit NDX rather than ES or S&P, because it should be weaker. Now, coming into just today, the action has just been very wild. Today was Monday, the September 30th, and Powell spoke and basically dashed hopes for a larger cut in the November meeting and pretty much laid out the course that the cuts are only going to be 25 basis points twice before the end of the year. And I think the market was pricing in about 75 basis points total, and it's not getting that. And that caused this move down here. And then as you can see, it was just not only all bought right back up, but completely just took off with a vengeance. The market just ripped into the close and traded very, very strongly. And all of this really, to me, the main takeaway from this is this feels very late stage to me. And when I say late stage, I mean late stage rally, in that the market is definitely being controlled here by shorter term traders, because longer term factions I don't think would act this frenetic. And I don't think they want to be positioned too heavy ahead of the election regardless. The positioning there is probably going to be more of one, with some esoteric option strategies or things that revolve around volatility and things like that. So that's also something that's kind of on the horizon that's probably going to bring in some volatility, but I don't think the market is pricing any of that just yet, as we haven't even gotten into October yet. So, but as we get a couple of weeks into October, I think that's going to start being a thing. I still maintain, as I'm looking at these daily charts, that I don't think the market is on strong footing here. If you recall in my video, I talked a lot about the nature of this advance here being on very small body candles, and why is there a lack of range expansion like you see here or here as the market's going up, or even here or here range expansion. Even these bars are bigger than those bars, right? Look at this range expansion here as you're moving up. And you didn't get that at all. And also the way that this made a new swing high here, not a new all-time high, but just a new swing high here, on like a gap up and then fail, is very interesting to me. So I'm going to continue to keep it simple, as I like to do with the TA. And going forward, I'm carrying forward the fact that this 8 EMA here was taken out in today's trade on those Powell comments, and then we rallied. And it's the same chart in the S&P. I just happen to be on the NDX right here. So I would say carry that forward, and I really believe pretty strongly that if price was to revisit this area, you're going to see something lower. And this is your 21 right here, and this is an EMA 55. But really this 21 would be the one that would be in play. And as I was saying, the S&P is really the same exact thing. Just the fact that the candles are very small here, and it's just sort of grinding higher. And now we've got a shot at a new all-time high. So in the S&P, I'm also going to be watching the same thing to see if there's any reversal of this day back through here. But as with all new all-time highs, I'm going to be watching very closely to see if there is expansion of range at the all-time high, like I was just saying that we're not getting, or also very, very important, if we best the all-time high and then come back into range. That's also going to be interesting to me. would go like this and come back in. That would be like a sign of failure and telling me that buyers are just essentially tired. And that's kind of been my MO. Obviously, it was the title of last weekend's video a couple days ago, talking about the fact that the market just feels tired here. So I'm not positioned for it as of yet, but I still believe that there is a chance that we do see some volatility between now and the election, I would say, but definitely before the end of the year. I think there will be some larger volatility. And last but not least, I'll just leave you on the profile here, because I wanted to point out how when you bring in this extra added element of time and you look closer at value and not price, it really drives home the point, even much better than the candlestick charts, that nothing is happening, right? All of these yellow areas are where 70% of the volume of that session traded. And notice that here, the value is completely unchanged. It didn't move. And here, for these 3 sessions, the value is also unchanged and it didn't move. And in the bigger picture, this is very important. The value means much more than price, much, much more. So the fact that the value didn't move is noteworthy to me. And then, of course, you have all the smaller nuances that I talk about a lot of whether or not, for instance, the POC migrates. So when a market surges like this and it's kind of spiky at the top, at the late day, we call that a spike when it's in N period and O period here, and that's put spike rules into play. And I'll be discussing this in my pre-market perspective video tomorrow morning, how to play the spike. But generally, when you get a spike, also notice that it's on very thin profile. There's not a lot up here, and you generally don't ever get the POC migrating higher. You get the POC staying lower. So the bulk of the value is actually lower. It's actually here, and here's where the POC was, which is kind of noteworthy to me, because remember, as I was saying, it's much, much more important than price over time. When this relationship goes like this for longer periods of time than just, say, a day, like this is just one data point, the fact that it didn't migrate higher today. But if this relationship continues, it's something to watch for, meaning that you continually get price moving higher, but value isn't really doing it. Maybe value is just overlapping. You never get that clean breakaway day where the value area is higher. And also, more importantly, if you get multiple days where the POC does not migrate higher with price, that also tells you that, the odds of a liquidation break would definitely then be increasing by a lot. Okay, that's all. So that's my end of month rundown. I would say I continue to feel this market is exhibiting, yellow flag here, basically. And I don't think it's pedal to the metal long. And I am trading accordingly. I am choosing my spots very carefully. We are doing some stuff with gold. We are doing some stuff with MSTR and crypto because, it tends to be somewhat outside of the market. And as far as market stuff, or I should say, just individual stocks that are going to be more beholden to the moves of the broad market, we are being very, very careful. And I think we're going to continue to be very, very careful until we get a stronger signal in either direction. All right, that's all. I wish you guys good trading and good night. Hey, this is Peter from ShadowTrader.net, and I just wanted to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if you'd like to trade live with me every day in my weekly options advisory, then check out the link in the description below. I wish you good trading, and I'll see you in the room.